Welcome to our channel. Today, we're bringing you an exciting look at HD Old Coins 51, a collection of fascinating, historic coins that showcase incredible artistry and craftsmanship. Each coin has a unique story, connecting us to a bygone era and preserving the rich heritage of the past. Whether you're a passionate collector or just curious about these rare treasures, this video will take you on a journey through history. Let's explore the beauty, value, and significance of these remarkable coins. Top 1. The year was 1969, a time of transformation and progress in Canada. The country was embracing its centennial legacy, having celebrated 100 years of Confederation just 2 years prior. The world was changing rapidly, with technological advancements, cultural shifts, and economic growth shaping the lives of millions. Amidst this evolving landscape, the Royal Canadian Mint continued its tradition of producing some of the finest coins in North America. Among them was a small yet significant piece of currency, the 1969 Canada 1-cent penny. This humble coin, often overlooked in everyday transactions, carries a deep historical significance that collectors and numismatists have come to appreciate over time. Though it was minted in large numbers, variations, errors, and certain unique characteristics have made some specimens incredibly valuable. But what is it about this simple copper coin that has captured the fascination of collectors worldwide? To understand its true importance, we must first explore its origins. By the late 1960s, Canada had firmly established itself as an economic powerhouse, with its industries thriving and its cities expanding. The nation's currency was a reflection of this growth, evolving over time to meet the demands of a modernizing economy. The 1-cent penny, a staple of Canadian pocket change, had been in circulation for decades, featuring the iconic maple leaf design, a symbol of national pride. In 1969, this design continued to grace the country's smallest denomination, maintaining its legacy while subtly incorporating changes that would make it a sought-after collectible. At the heart of the coin's design is the unmistakable maple leaf branch, a feature that has defined the Canadian penny since 1937. Designed by G. Kruger Gray, this simple yet elegant emblem represents Canada's natural beauty and resilience. The reverse side of the 1969 penny proudly displays this design, with 2 maple leaves extending from a single twig, a symbol of strength and unity. Below it, the denomination, 1 cent, is clearly inscribed, along with the country's name, Canada, and the year of issue, 1969. Flipping the coin over, we find the obverse, featuring the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. By 1969, the Royal Canadian Mint had adopted the second portrait of the Queen, designed by Arnold Mackin. This youthful depiction of Her Majesty had been introduced in 1965, replacing the earlier portrait used since her coronation. The Queen's image is surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth II DG Regina, a Latin phrase meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. This regal portrait remained a defining feature of Canadian coinage for many years. The composition of the 1969 penny is another aspect that adds to its numismatic appeal. Struck in bronze, it consists of 98% copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc. Weighing 3.24 grams and measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter, the coin maintains the traditional specifications that had been in place for decades. However, it is the finer details in the minting process that make this coin particularly intriguing to collectors. The Royal Canadian Mint, headquartered in Ottawa, was responsible for producing the 1969 1-cent penny. That year, a significant number of these coins were struck, ensuring their widespread circulation. However, within this mintage, rare variations and minting errors emerged, making some specimens far more valuable than others. One of the most famous varieties of the 1969 Canadian penny is the large date and small date distinction. While most of the coins feature the standard large date, a small number were struck with a noticeably smaller date font. This subtle difference has made the small date variety exceptionally rare and highly desirable among collectors. Spotting the difference requires a keen eye, but those who find a small date penny may hold a valuable treasure in their hands. Another aspect that adds to the intrigue of the 1969 penny is the potential for striking errors. Minting errors can occur due to misalignments, die cracks, or other imperfections in the coin production process. These anomalies, while unintended, can significantly increase a coin's value. Off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet flaws are just a few examples of errors that collectors seek out. The rarity of such errors, combined with their visual appeal, makes them highly collectible. Over the years, the value of the 1969 Canada 1-cent penny has fluctuated based on market demand, rarity, and condition. While most circulated examples hold only nominal value, uncirculated or high-grade specimens can command impressive prices. Coins graded by professional numismatic organizations, such as PCGS or NGC, often fetch higher values, especially if they possess rare variations or errors. In recent auctions, pristine examples of the 1969 small-date penny have sold for substantial sums, sometimes reaching thousands of dollars. The combination of low mintage, historical significance, and collector demand has made this variety one of the most sought-after Canadian pennies in the numismatic world. Even standard large-date versions, when found in exceptional condition, can attract interest from collectors looking to complete their sets. Beyond its monetary value, the 1969 Canadian penny serves as a reminder of a bygone era in Canadian currency. In 2012, the Royal Canadian Mint officially ceased production of the penny, citing high production costs and decreasing usage. As a result, pennies like the 1969 edition have become even more significant, representing a piece of history that will never be minted again. For collectors, owning a 1969 Canadian penny is about more than just its financial worth, it's about preserving a piece of the past. Each coin tells a story, reflecting the artistry, craftsmanship, and economic conditions of its time. Whether tucked away in a collector's album or showcased in a display case, these pennies continue to capture the imagination of those who appreciate the rich heritage of Canadian coinage. So, the next time you come across an old Canadian penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a hidden gem, a relic of the past that carries both historical and financial significance. And if it's a 1969 small-date penny, you may have stumbled upon a true numismatic treasure, one that collectors around the world are eager to find. Top 2. The year was 1997, a time of transition and innovation in Canada. The country was moving toward the new millennium, experiencing economic growth and technological advancements that shaped its identity on the global stage. It was also a time when everyday transactions still relied heavily on physical currency, and among the coins that circulated widely was the 1997 Canada 1-cent penny. Though it may have seemed like just another piece of pocket change, this small copper-plated coin carries historical significance that has made it a notable piece in the world of numismatics. To understand the importance of the 1997 Canadian penny, we must look at its place in the long history of Canada's 1-cent coins. Since its introduction in 1858, the Canadian penny had undergone several design changes, reflecting the nation's growth and evolving identity. By the 1990s, the familiar maple leaf design had already been a staple of the coin for decades, cementing its place as a symbol of national pride. The 1997 issue continued this tradition while also marking a key moment in the penny's history. The coin's design is one of its most recognizable features, a testament to Canada's appreciation for simplicity and national symbolism. On the reverse, we see the iconic maple leaf twig, a design that had been in use since 1937. Created by artist G. Kruger Gray, the two maple leaves extending from a single stem symbolize strength and unity, qualities deeply rooted in the Canadian spirit. The denomination, 1 cent, is displayed prominently, along with the country's name, Canada, in the year 1997, marking its place in time. Flipping the coin over reveals the obverse, featuring the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. By 1997, Canadian coinage had transitioned to the third official portrait of the Queen, designed by Canadian artist Dora de Pétrirant. This portrait, introduced in 1990, was the first to be created by a Canadian and depicted the Queen in a more mature and dignified manner. Surrounding her image are the inscriptions Elizabeth II DG Regina, a Latin phrase meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. This version of the Queen's portrait remained in use until 2003, making it a defining feature of late 20th century Canadian currency. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1997 penny is its composition. Unlike earlier Canadian cents, which were made of solid bronze, the 1997 issue was struck with a copper-plated zinc core. This change in composition had been introduced in 1997 as a cost-saving measure, marking the beginning of a new era for the 1-cent coin. Weighing 2.25 grams and measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter, the new penny was significantly lighter than its predecessors. This shift to a zinc core not only reduced production costs but also altered the coin's durability and appearance over time. The Royal Canadian Mint, responsible for producing the nation's coinage, struck millions of these pennies at its Ottawa facility. The high mintage ensured that the coin remained a common sight in circulation, but within this vast production, certain rare varieties and errors emerged, catching the attention of collectors. One of the most sought-after varieties of the 1997 Canadian penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is imprinted twice during the striking process, resulting in a slight doubling effect that can be seen on the lettering or other details. While not all 1997 pennies exhibit this error, those that do are considered rare and can command higher prices in the collector's market. Another interesting variation is the difference in the coin's finish. Some examples of the 1997 penny were struck with a satin or proof-like finish for special sets, making them distinct from the regular business strike versions. These higher quality strikes, often found in mint sets, are highly sought after by collectors looking for pristine examples of the coin. Over time, the value of the 1997 Canada 1-cent penny has remained stable for common circulated examples, but rare varieties and well-preserved specimens can be worth significantly more. Coins that have been graded in high mint state condition by professional numismatic services, such as PCGS or NGC, tend to fetch premium prices, especially if they exhibit errors or unique characteristics. In recent years, collectors have shown increasing interest in late 20th century Canadian coinage, recognizing its historical significance as Canada moved closer to discontinuing the penny. In 2012, the Royal Canadian Mint officially ceased production of the 1-cent coin, citing rising production costs and declining usage. This decision marked the end of an era, turning previously common pennies like the 1997 edition into historical relics that would never be minted again. For many collectors, owning a 1997 Canadian penny is about more than just its monetary value. It's about preserving a piece of history. This coin represents a pivotal moment when the composition of the penny changed, setting the stage for its eventual retirement. Each surviving example tells a story of an evolving economy, shifting policies, and the gradual phasing out of small denomination coins in modern commerce. Today, the 1997 Canadian penny serves as a reminder of the everyday transactions that once depended on these small copper-plated coins. Though no longer in circulation, they continue to be cherished by collectors, historians, and those who appreciate the artistry and craftsmanship of Canadian coinage. Whether kept in an album, stored in a collection, or discovered in a forgotten jar of spare change, these pennies hold a lasting connection to Canada's rich numismatic heritage. So the next time you come across a 1997 Canada 1-cent penny, take a closer look. It may seem like an ordinary piece of change, but within its design, composition, and history lies a fascinating story of transition and transformation. For collectors and enthusiasts alike, this small coin remains a valuable and enduring piece of Canada's past. Top 3. The year was 1999, a time when Canada was on the brink of a new millennium. The nation was experiencing rapid technological advancements, economic growth, and cultural shifts, all while looking forward to the 21st century. As people went about their daily transactions, the 1-cent penny remained a staple of Canadian currency, often passed from hand to hand without a second thought. Yet, among these countless coins, the 1999 Canada 1-cent penny holds a special place in numismatic history, offering collectors a fascinating glimpse into the country's evolving monetary system. To understand the significance of the 1999 Canadian penny, we must first consider its place in the long tradition of Canadian 1-cent coins. Since its introduction in 1858, the penny had undergone various changes in design, composition, and production. By the late 1990s, the Royal Canadian Mint had already made a crucial decision regarding the future of this small denomination. Although the penny remained in circulation, its composition had changed dramatically just a few years earlier, reflecting the government's efforts to reduce production costs while maintaining the coin's iconic appearance. The reverse of the 1999 Canadian penny continues the classic design that had been in place for over 6 decades. At its center, the maple leaf twig stands as a proud symbol of Canada, embodying the country's natural beauty and resilience. Designed by G. Kruger Gray, this enduring image first appeared on the Canadian penny in 1937 and remained a defining feature of the coin until the penny was discontinued in 2012. The design features 2 detailed maple leaves extending from a single stem, signifying strength and unity. Below this elegant imagery, the denomination 1 cent is clearly inscribed, along with the country's name, Canada, and the year of issue, 1999, marking the final year before the dawn of a new millennium. Flipping the coin over reveals the obverse, showcasing the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This effigy, created by Canadian artist Dora de Pedrihant, was introduced in 1990 and remained on Canadian coins until 2003. It was a historic moment in Canadian numismatics, as this was the first time a Canadian artist had been commissioned to design an official portrait of the Queen for circulation coinage. The design captures Her Majesty in a mature yet dignified manner, reflecting her enduring reign. Encircling the portrait are the words Elizabeth II DG Regina, a Latin inscription meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. One of the most significant aspects of the 1999 Canadian penny is its composition. Unlike earlier pennies made of solid bronze, the 1999 issue was struck with a copper-plated zinc core. This shift in material, which began in 1997, was implemented as a cost-saving measure to reduce the expense of minting small-denomination coins. The result was a penny that maintained the familiar reddish copper appearance but was significantly lighter and had different wear characteristics over time. Weighing just 2.25 grams and measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter, the 1999 penny was noticeably different from its earlier bronze counterparts, though the change went largely unnoticed by the general public. The Royal Canadian Mint, headquartered in Ottawa, was responsible for striking millions of these pennies, ensuring that they remained abundant in everyday transactions. However, within this high mintage, variations and rare errors emerged, making certain specimens highly desirable among collectors. One of the most intriguing varieties of the 1999 Canadian penny is the double die error. This occurs when a coin's design is struck twice onto the planchet, causing a noticeable doubling effect on certain details such as the date, lettering, or maple leaf design. These errors are rare but highly sought after, as they add an extra layer of uniqueness to the coin. Collectors who come across a 1999 penny with clear doubling can expect it to fetch a premium in the numismatic market. Another notable variety involves minor die cracks, which can sometimes be found on the surface of the coin. These cracks occur when the dies used to strike the coins develop small fractures, resulting in raised lines or distortions in the final design. While not all die crack errors significantly impact a coin's value, those with prominent or unusual formations can become collector favorites. In terms of value, the 1999 Canada 1 cent penny remains readily available in circulated condition, with most examples holding only their face value. However, uncirculated or high-grade specimens, particularly those graded by professional coin authentication services like PCGS or NGC, can command higher prices. Coins with rare errors or varieties, such as double dies or misaligned strikes, have been known to sell for much more, depending on their rarity and demand. In recent years, the numismatic community has shown a growing interest in late 20th century Canadian coins, recognizing them as important pieces of history. The 1999 penny is especially appealing because it represents a turning point in Canada's coinage, the era of copper-plated zinc cents, leading up to the eventual discontinuation of the penny altogether. With the Royal Canadian Mint ceasing production of pennies in 2012, all past issues, including the 1999 version, have taken on greater historical significance. For collectors, owning a 1999 Canadian penny is about more than just its potential value. It is about preserving a piece of a bygone era. This coin serves as a reminder of everyday transactions, the tactile nature of cash-based commerce, and a time when pennies were an essential part of Canadian currency. Whether stored in an album, displayed in a collection, or discovered in a forgotten coin jar, each of these pennies carries a story of the time in which it was minted. As we reflect on the legacy of the Canadian penny, the 1999 issue stands as a symbol of transition, bridging the gap between traditional copper-based coins and the modernized, cost-effective minting techniques of the late 20th century. Though it may no longer be in circulation, this small yet significant coin remains a cherished part of Canada's numismatic heritage, continuing to capture the interest of collectors and history enthusiasts alike. So, the next time you come across a 1999 Canada 1 cent penny, take a moment to appreciate its journey. It may seem like just another coin, but within its design, composition, and historical context lies a fascinating story of change, adaptation, and national identity. For those who appreciate the rich history of Canadian coinage, this penny is more than just currency, it is a lasting piece of Canada's past, preserved for future generations to discover. Top 4. The year 2003 was a pivotal moment in Canada's history, as the nation entered the 21st century with a sense of progress and change. Economically stable and culturally diverse, Canada continued to uphold its rich traditions while embracing modernization. Within this evolving landscape, the Royal Canadian Mint continued its commitment to producing high-quality coinage, ensuring that even the smallest denominations maintained their historical significance. The 2003 Canada 1-cent penny is a fascinating example of this, representing both continuity and transition in the country's numismatic history. At first glance, the 2003 Canadian penny appears to be a continuation of the long-standing tradition of the 1-cent coin. For decades, the reverse of the penny had featured the iconic maple leaf twig, a design first introduced in 1937 by G. Kruger Gray. This simple yet powerful image captures the essence of Canada's national identity, symbolizing strength, resilience, and the country's deep connection to nature. The two maple leaves extending from a single stem serve as a visual representation of unity, a fitting design for a nation built on diversity and cooperation. Below this symbolic imagery, the denomination 1 cent is clearly displayed, alongside the country's name, Canada, and the year 2003, marking its place in the historical timeline of Canadian coinage. Flipping the coin over, we encounter one of the most intriguing aspects of the 2003 Canadian penny. Unlike previous years, this particular issue exists in two distinct variations, each featuring a different portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. The first version carries the familiar Dora de Pettery Hunt effigy, which had been in use since 1990. This depiction of the Queen, created by a Canadian artist for the first time, portrays Her Majesty in a dignified yet mature manner, reflecting her steady reign over the decades. However, 2003 also marked the introduction of a new portrait, designed by Susanna Blunt. This updated effigy presented a more modern and unadorned depiction of the Queen, breaking away from the traditional crown portraits that had been a hallmark of Canadian coinage for years. The Blunt portrait emphasized a sense of realism, capturing the Queen's strength and grace without the formal regalia of the past. The existence of these two portrait variations makes the 2003 penny particularly interesting to collectors. While both versions were produced in significant numbers, the transition from the Pettery Hunt design to the Blunt design creates a natural point of interest for numismatists. Some collectors seek to acquire both versions, appreciating the historical shift that occurred within a single year. Beyond its design, the composition of the 2003 penny reflects the ongoing evolution of Canadian coinage. By this time, the Royal Canadian Mint had fully transitioned to a cost-effective production method, using copper-plated zinc for the core of the coin. This lightweight composition, introduced in 1997, allowed the mint to produce pennies at a reduced cost while maintaining their familiar reddish-brown appearance. The coin retained its standard weight of 2.25 grams and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, ensuring consistency with previous issues. While millions of these pennies were struck for circulation, certain variations and errors have caught the attention of collectors. One of the most sought-after errors involves die doubling, a phenomenon in which elements of the design, such as the date or lettering, appear doubled due to misalignment during the striking process. Coins with noticeable doubling are considered rare and can fetch premium prices among numismatic enthusiasts. Another variety that intrigues collectors is the presence of die cracks. Over time, the metal dies used to strike coins can develop small fractures, resulting in raised lines or distortions on the coin's surface. While minor die cracks are common, larger or more pronounced cracks can make a particular coin stand out, increasing its value and desirability. The value of the 2003 Canada 1-cent penny varies depending on its condition, rarity, and any errors it may exhibit. In circulated condition, most examples retain only their face value, as millions were minted and widely distributed. However, uncirculated specimens, particularly those graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC, can command higher prices. A flawless, high-grade 2003 penny, especially in its original mint packaging or roll, may be worth significantly more than its face value. Despite its modest denomination, The 2003 penny holds an important place in Canadian numismatic history. It represents both continuity and change, maintaining the beloved maple leaf design while introducing a new effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. The dual portrait variations make this coin a unique collector's item, bridging the gap between tradition and modernization. With the eventual discontinuation of the penny in 2012, all past issues, including the 2003 version, have gained a new level of historical significance. No longer in circulation, these small coins have become tangible pieces of the past, preserving the legacy of an era when pennies were an essential part of everyday transactions. For collectors, owning a 2003 Canadian penny is not just about its potential monetary value. It is about holding on to a piece of history, a reminder of the time when these tiny copper coins played a role in daily commerce. Whether stored in an album, discovered in a jar of old change, or carefully examined for rare errors, each 2003 penny carries a story, one of a nation transitioning into a new era while honoring its traditions. The next time you come across a 2003 Canada 1-cent penny, take a closer look. It may seem like just another coin, but within its small frame lies a fascinating narrative of design evolution, economic efficiency, and historical significance. For those who appreciate the intricate details of Canadian coinage, this penny is more than just a relic of the past. It is a lasting piece of Canada's numismatic heritage, waiting to be rediscovered by future generations. Top 5. The year 2005 was a time of transformation and progress in Canada. As the nation continued to thrive in the 21st century, its economy, culture, and technological advancements shaped a modern identity while preserving its rich heritage. Among the many aspects of Canadian history that carried forward was its coinage, a tangible reflection of the country's evolution. The 2005 Canada 1-cent penny is an interesting piece of this legacy, embodying the traditions of the past while remaining a relevant artifact of its time. Though small in size and face value, this coin tells a much larger story about Canadian numismatics, design, and the role of the penny in everyday transactions. The reverse of the 2005 Canadian penny proudly displays the iconic maple leaf twig, a design that had been in use since 1937. Created by artist G. Kruger Gray, this image symbolizes the nation's strength, resilience, and unity. The maple leaves, intricately detailed and extending from a single stem, serve as a national emblem, instantly recognizable as a representation of Canada. Beneath the design, the words 1 cent indicate the coin's denomination, while Canada, in the year 2005, reaffirm its origin and minting date. This classic design remained largely unchanged throughout the decades, reinforcing a sense of familiarity and tradition in Canadian coinage. On the obverse of the 2005 penny, we find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, a fixture on Canadian currency for decades. Designed by artist Susanna Blunt, this portrait was first introduced in 2003 and represented a departure from previous royal depictions. Unlike earlier designs that featured a crowned queen, Blunt's version showcased a more contemporary and realistic interpretation. The queen is portrayed without a crown, emphasizing her dignity and approachability. This design choice reflected the modern era of Elizabeth II's reign, a period marked by evolving global dynamics and the Queen's continued dedication to service. Encircling her portrait are the inscriptions Elizabeth II and DG Regina, short for De Grazia Regina, which translates to By the Grace of God, Queen. In terms of composition, the 2005 Canadian penny followed the cost-effective design principles introduced in the late 1990s. By this time, the traditional copper composition had been replaced with a more affordable copper-plated zinc structure. This adjustment allowed the Royal Canadian Mint to produce pennies at a lower cost while maintaining their familiar reddish-brown appearance. The coin weighed approximately 2.25 grams and had a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, ensuring consistency with previous 1-cent issues. Despite its minor role in the economy, the penny remained an essential part of daily transactions, frequently used in cash purchases and change-making. Collectors of Canadian coinage often seek out specific years for their rarity, unique features, or mint errors. While the 2005 penny was produced in large quantities, certain variations and striking errors make some examples more valuable than others. One of the most intriguing errors to look for is die doubling, where certain elements of the coin's design, such as the date, lettering, or even the Queen's portrait, appear duplicated due to a slight misalignment during the minting process. Coins displaying noticeable doubling can fetch higher prices in the collector's market. Another factor that can affect the value of a 2005 penny is its condition. While circulated coins are generally worth their face value, uncirculated specimens, especially those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can command a premium. A penny in pristine condition, free from wear and damage, is more desirable to collectors and can sell for several times its original worth. Additionally, coins with unique toning or luster may attract numismatic interest, as their visual appeal sets them apart from common examples. The value of a 2005 Canadian penny largely depends on demand and rarity. While most circulated examples remain at their nominal value, high-grade coins, errors, or unique die varieties can be worth significantly more. Collectors often seek out full rolls of uncirculated 2005 pennies, as these provide a greater likelihood of finding pristine examples or errors. Despite being a low-denomination coin, the Canadian penny has played a significant role in the country's economic and cultural history. However, by the early 21st century, its usefulness began to decline. Rising production costs and the decreasing purchasing power of the penny led to discussions about its eventual removal from circulation. While the 2005 penny remained a widely used coin at the time, it was among the final issues leading up to the Royal Canadian Mint's decision to discontinue the penny altogether in 2012. This decision marked the end of an era as businesses and consumers adjusted to a world without the smallest unit of Canadian currency. For collectors, the 2005 Canadian penny is not just another common coin. It represents a piece of history from the final years of the 1-cent coin's circulation. Owning a well-preserved example of this penny allows collectors to hold onto a tangible reminder of a time when pennies were an everyday part of life. Whether tucked away in an old jar of change, carefully preserved in an album, or examined under magnification for rare varieties, each 2005 penny tells its own unique story. The legacy of the Canadian penny lives on through the efforts of numismatists and coin enthusiasts who recognize its historical significance. Even though the penny is no longer minted or used in transactions, its impact on Canadian culture remains undeniable. Every 2005 penny, whether stored away in a collection or found in a handful of spare change, carries with it a connection to the past, a time when even the smallest coin had a place in everyday commerce. For those who appreciate Canadian numismatics, the 2005 Canada 1-cent penny stands as a testament to the nation's enduring coinage traditions. It serves as a reminder of the craftsmanship, history, and economic factors that shaped Canada's currency. Though its face value may be just 1 cent, its story is worth far more to those who take the time to appreciate its details and significance.